What up? IOBA. My name is TC. So, today is one day closer to the inauguration. Trump is filling out his cabinet, and so far, we have yet to see Byron get a job. Mr. Things were better under Jim Crow. Under Jim Crow, black family was together. Under Jim Crow, black people voted more conservative, but they voted more conservatively. And the complexive majorities of the inferior mind causes the inflection down the reflection of the sympathy pass. You dig what I'm saying? That's how that nigga sounded to me. Sitting up there in that motherfucking cigar lounge, sipping on whiskey and talking stupidness. If I'm not mistaken, he is a second generation Jamaican brother. One of them dudes who ain't got really no ties to the blood and soil of this country like black Americans like myself do. But Donald Trump let him know what he really thinks of him and all of the cooning and shucking and jiving he was doing. And all of the being a traitor to his own people that he was doing. Jim Crow. If he really knew anything about what it was like to live in the South during that period, then he would never say that. Because that's where I'm from. That's where my mama and my daddy, my grandmama, my granddaddy, all my people come from. We was part of the Great Migration North. And if Byron Donalds, anybody else from someplace in the world who has an opinion on that, if they really lived in that experience, in that time, then they wouldn't be saying the ignorant shit that they say about black people's history in this country. But the white folks know. That's why they fight so hard to suppress black history. That's why down here in Florida, they're trying so hard to keep the public schools from teaching black history because they don't want their feelings hurt and they don't want to be reminded of how evil and inhumane they are. White folks, I mean. But people from other parts of the world who went through a lot of the same shit come up here and they try to get in on the anti-black coon sellout grift and think the white people really accept him. Well, newsflash, they don't. That's why you, Byron, don't have a job in the Trump administration. He don't like y'all around him. He does not like you guys around him. He made the mistake of letting Omarosa in the White House. They had to physically throw that woman out of the fucking White House. She said we was all going to have to bow down to Donald Trump. Well, I tell you what, a lot of white folks did. And apparently some niggas did too. Like you, Byron. And your boy Tim Scott. But I'm talking about Byron Donalds right now. Because I don't know a lot about him personally. I do know he claims to be really well educated and very articulate. I know I've heard him, describe himself as that, in the few speeches I heard from him. I mean, other than the Jim Crow speech. He's very intelligent, but he's trying to play the game. And he don't know that it runs a lot deeper than he could ever think. that the racism and the hatred in this country of black skin runs a lot deeper than he could ever think. I've seen it 1,000 times, all through growing up, where a brother thought he was being accepted by a white family or a group of white folks. I got people in my family like that. But you never ever are one of them. And when it come down to it, they're going to always stick together. Our problem is we don't do that. We got motherfuckers like Byron Donalds running around. I remember one time, just a little side note, I remember one time I made a video about Jasmine Crockett, that congresswoman, I think she's from Texas, I want to say. The bad built butch body woman. And I made a comparison to Nina Turner. And I said that I prefer a Nina Turner type of politician to Jasmine Crockett, because Jasmine Crockett was on the Breakfast Club and she wouldn't criticize Joe Biden. I kind of get it. I understand now. That's the leader of her party. But when she in Congress, she be giving it to them white boys with both fucking barrels. Now, why the hell can't Byron Donalds be more like Jasmine Crockett in that regard? Because she fearless. I don't know what the fuck he is. Nina Turner, lover or hater, she fearless. I don't know what Byron Donalds is. Marcel Dixon, I like him as a politician. He's fearless. I don't know what Byron Donalds is, other than a coon. Trying to play that goddamn throw the niggas under the bus grift to get rich. Because that's, at the end of the day, you see these black Republicans running around doing that shit, that's all they doing it for. Trying to get a bag. And it never works out for them. It never, ever, ever works out for them. I'm going to go one bit further and say this. When I used to compete in bodybuilding shows, I used to always, be pretty much by myself. When I go to a show, it'd be me and my coach and one assistant. Sometimes no assistant, just me and my coach going to a bodybuilding show. But I was always the blackest brother in there. If I didn't have a black woman with me, I went by myself to the show because they're usually out of town. But a lot of the brothers being there, cooning and selling out to these white folks like they in the presence of gods or something. And that shit used to just get on my nerves. There's this one brother who was a champion, a real champion, and won a lot of big shows. Told me that I should put my trust in his coach, this white dude. Because that's what he did. Now, quiet as kept, I'd already beaten this brother in a couple of shows, but you couldn't tell him I was better than him. But he threw all his trust into these white folks that was handling him. And I was trying to tell him, man, you can't never trust these people like that. You can't never put your entire Clyde, you're a racist, Clyde, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. I'm like, all right, brother, you go ahead. Fast forward 20 years later, when they got tired of his ass, threw his ass clean under the bus. They rose him up a little bit. They gave him a police commissioner job in my town. And you know crime ain't never going to really be under control. When they got tired of his ass, it was all his fault. Threw his ass clean under, ran him out of town. I said, I told you can't trust them white folks like that. Ended his bodybuilding career. Matter of fact, he got sick off some of the goddamn steroids that they were giving him. Giving him bad steroids, I mean. Never trust him. Said all that to say this. Byron, them white boys don't love you. They ain't never gonna love you. You go ahead and finish your congressional career or whatever the fuck political position you got. You go ahead and finish that, and maybe they'll reelect your cooning ass. But then again, maybe not, because from the looks of that Donald Trump cabinet, they ain't feeling niggas like you. So you better enjoy this goddamn congressional seat while you got it. Because they gonna primary your monkey ass, because they don't like traitors. And that's what I got to say about motherfucking Jim Crow ass Byron Donalds. No job for you. No job for you. Ain't nothing but mayonnaise up in that bitch. Let that be a lesson to all you motherfucking sellouts and simps and coons. When white supremacy gets done with its tools, it breaks its tools. Shout out Professor Black Truth. With that, I'm gonna bounce. TC. Oh, don't forget to like my video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Listen to me talk my shit. All right? TC. And I'm out. Peace.